Here's the thing with the Magic defense, Cody. They are extremely versatile. They are extremely big and long. So they have this length that they can use all over the court. And when you get lineups like Suggs and Anthony Black, then no one's small. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Goga Batadze is playing. Did I say Wagner? What happened there? It's Franz Wagner. There's
awesome.
Too many foreign words in one sentence for me there. But like Goga Batadze, who's filled in for Wendell Carter Jr., who's another good defender, there aren't really any weaknesses. And they're very versatile. They can switch and cover different positions. I mean, sometimes they'll take Suggs and he'll guard like someone like Jason Tatum. I don't know what they list him at, but he plays big. He's like 6'4", something like that. And he's very physical. He's very strong. So he can switch and guard different positions. But then getting around screens and getting into the ball, really, really good at staying connected, or again, being physical as he navigates around a screen, has really active hands, has a high IQ. There's one play against the Pacers where they have like a 4-on-2 in transition or something, shoot it down the court. It looks like it's going to be a layup. And then he throws a paw up and deflects the pass and sends it the other way. I mean, he has a lot of plays like this where he's reading the court. And I think all of the Magic guards are good at getting up into you. Cole Anthony does this a little bit. He's played more with Fultz being out. And then, man, Anthony Black. Have we fawned over Anthony Black yet? I mean, that guy, he's legitimately a very good defender as a rookie and extremely versatile. And then they have all this length because of their size. And the length allows them, the thing that really jumps out to me when I watch the film, it allows them to shrink the floor, meaning when that ball is inside 15 feet and someone's posting up or they need to send an extra defender to overload, you have players close to the ball, close to the paint, and then they can recover. And then they can rotate and get back to the shooter, get back to a skip pass, and they fly around, and they're pretty good at communicating and knowing where to go. Like, I'm going to double the post, okay? The guy that comes and doubles the post, he's not going to recover to his man. He's going to fly across the court to someone else, and it's all beautifully coordinated. The length and the athleticism and the versatility, it all fits together to make possessions difficult for opposing teams, because what do you attack and how do you have, you just don't have as many easy baskets when you have these guys out on the court. Like Banchero and Franz Wagner are your forwards you have to meet at the rim when they rotate behind the play. And as you said, guys like Black and Suggs, when they're scrambling all over the court, one of those guards is even big enough to cause problems protecting the hoop at the end of the play. So it's really impressive.
A key aspect, too, that their guards, all of the guards are able to do that helps them not get kind of in these mismatches or get scrambled or have to communicate too much, is they're all excellent at chasing and dodging picks. Like, I'm thinking back to that Celtics game, and the Celtics love running a bunch of double staggers, right? And I think a lot of teams, usually when there's some kind of double stagger, there's going to be some kind of switching. Like, maybe the middle defender is going to jump out, stop the action from coming, and then maybe there's going to be a switch in there. Usually these guys are quick enough and agile enough and small enough that they can just kind of like boop, boop, and then there's no switch. And then the Celtics are like, oh crap, should we run it back? Should we try and get that switch? And I think the interesting thing with the aggression is I did notice, like, I felt like the Magic are really good at shrinking some of these driving lanes, right? Like, somebody's handling, somebody's going to be hedging over a little bit, and they're like, you know what, we're going to stop this guy from getting in the paint. But I thought, especially in that first half against the Celtics, I thought that opened them up to a lot of backdoor type cuts, right? Like, I think Jalen Brown had a huge dunk after a beautiful pass from Kristaps Porzingis. Joe Ingles was back cut a couple times. We can talk about Ingles here in just a second. But I thought most of the guys, even though I think they're all very aware defensively, were kind of caught in no man's land a couple of times when these guys were making these back cuts. I don't know if that's a Celtics thing. I don't know if that's a Magic thing, kind of giving up the backside, which would be a weird thing to do to take away the driving lane. But those are some of the things I was noticing. Ultimately, that chasing ability of all of their guards just makes them so flexible and not having to rely on the switch every possession.
Yeah, I think there's some subtle things there that they could still improve. I mean, it's not perfect every possession. I mean, this is a young team, so I think it's already pretty impressive for being a young team. But, I mean, let me give you an example. Off of a miss, when the offense is empty for the Magic and they get back on defense in transition, they do a great job of hustling and communicating and matching up. And if you actually go look on I mentioned our stats board earlier, we track what happens after an empty possession for an offensive team. And the league average defensive rating after you have a live ball miss, that's either a turnover or a missed shot, is 120. So when you miss in a live ball situation, you have a rebound or you have a turnover, very, very efficient offense coming back the other way. The Magic are literally the number one defense in the league after their offense has a live ball miss. And I told you the league average offensive rating was 120, Cody. The Magic, defensive rating. The Magic defensive rating after a miss is 107. It's 5 points better than the next best team. So I think this speed, this length, this youthful exuberance, it shows up there in that situation. And then let's go full circle. I said I was going to hold this question for you, and now I think it's time to ask it. I don't think they can be like a top-notch defense, like a absolute world-beating, going to be the best defense in the league, unless they play this guy more. Why doesn't Jonathan Isaac play more than like 15 minutes a game right now? Because when he's on the court, he's got these like defensive player of the year level vibes where he can guard anybody. Comes in the Celtics game, they put him on Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis goes out of the game. They stick him on Jason Tatum. Poor Jason had to deal with Jonathan Isaac hounding him for parts of that game. He's super versatile. He can guard big players. He can guard wings. He can protect the basket. He can switch. All these guys can switch. His length helps off the ball when we talked about shrinking the floor when he's on the weak side, and then he can recover and make plays and block shots. I mean, I think with him they might be the best defense in the league if he played heavy minutes. It's just so many good defensive players.
Jonathan Isaac, to me, like if he played 25 minutes a game, is like a shoe-in for all defensive team. And he set that tone right away. First game of the season where I think he met Jalen Green twice at the rim in like the same half. One of them a huge dunk. Maybe it was Jalen Green. I'm not sure. It was a Rockets player, but he blocked both of them at the rim. One of them this huge dunk. The other one was a layup, right? And I think that's a key part of him is he's able to bring that enormous rim protection. I don't remember what the numbers are, but he's contesting a fair amount of shots at the rim, and he's holding teams, or he's holding players to shooting significantly worse than their actual percentage when he's hanging out by the rim. As for why he's not playing more, Ben, there are times where there's 14 seconds left on the shot clock, and he's like, I'm going to take this above the break three, and he misses wide by 2 feet. And he's just kind of skating around, and I don't really trust his handle. So offensively, he brings a lot of baggage in terms of what can you do with this guy. That's probably why you can't trust Jonathan Isaac on offense. But I think in the regular season, you might as well play him more and see what kind of defense, what the heights you can bring your defense to with him out there is.
Well, right now it's only about 200 minutes into the season for Isaac, and the Magic's on-court defensive rating when he plays is 99. They are giving up 99 points per 100 possessions. No one is even close to that. No other Magic player is even close to that. So I think with him out there, they are incredible. Without him, they are still a very good defense, and it's going to make them pretty competitive, I think, for the rest of the season. Thanks for listening. You can find the full episode of this Thinking Basketball podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy podcasts.